I'm here today because my wife keep throwing the past in my face, and she can't get over the fact that I cheated before we was married.
I hope that the judge will end the suffering that my husband has put me through.
So if you're with Mrs. Gaston, about to marry her, why are you dealing with the other kid's mother when you said that relationship is over?
It happened.
You were just sitting there?
No.
And
No, I
all
wasn't
of a
just sitting
sudden,
there.
your penis jumped out your pants?
No.
And it happened.
Kendra Gaston says she cannot trust her husband, Kevin, because he has lied to her. And she wants spousal support so she can move on with her life. In today's session of Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Judge Mablean Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is a matter of Kendra Gaston versus Kevin Gaston. After a year of marriage, you ready to throw in the towel?
Yes, I am.
And you want him to pay you spousal support, huh, Ms. Gaston?
Yes, I do.
What makes you think he should do that in 1 year?
That was an agreement that we made beforehand.
All
that
right,
was
well, tell
something. Day returned from our honeymoon, I found out that Kevin slept with his ex-girlfriend.
So when did he sleep with her? The day before he married her? The day after you married her?
He slept with her the month before we got married. The month before we got married.
Okay.
He lied the whole entire time. I didn't know about it. First of all, we agreed that we would tell, we both have children by different people. We agreed that we would tell our parents of our children that we were now in a serious relationship. This is something we discussed after we agreed that we were in a serious relationship because we started discussing marriage. And I thought that, of course, I was very honest with my kid's father. I thought that Kevin was honest with the mother of his kids and told her that he was in a serious relationship.
How do you know he lied? He didn't tell the kid's mother that he was in a serious relationship and about to marry you.
She told me when she called, I would always ask Kevin when it was like on the weekends when his kids were supposed to come to our house for a visit, to visit with them. I asked Kevin, could I go with him to pick up the kids? I'd say, Kevin, can I go with you to pick up the kids? And he would say, no, I'll be right back. I'll only be gone 10 minutes. It won't take that long. I'll be right back. And he would come right back, no more than 20 minutes, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes back to our house. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I just thought that something was funny about that. Because,
why? Because he didn't want you to go with him?
Yeah. Basically,
so where did he tell her he was taking his kids to for the weekend?
His apartment. That he had his own apartment.
But she didn't know there was a woman living there, you being the woman.
Right. It was my apartment. It was my apartment.
Is that right, Mr. Gaston?
Yes.
Why you didn't tell the children's mother that you had another woman?
I didn't tell her offhand, you know, because I didn't know how far we and her was going to go. So I just kept, you know, I just ain't tell her until it all, you know, one day it just
until it all blew up in his face.
Until what?
It all just blew up in my face.
What do you mean blew up in your face?
It just...
She called.
Did you get married?
Yeah, I told her before we got married because it was like, she asked me...
He told her the day.
Hold on, Mrs. Gaston.
I told her the day, I told her a couple days before we got married.
That you were getting married?
I ain't tell her that I was getting married. I told her I was...
Okay, what did you tell her is my question. Would you please tell me what you told her?
I told her I was seeing somebody.
That's all?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you tell her then that you were about to be married?
At the time, we wasn't getting married then. This happened this happened...
Excuse me, did you all just decide the night before you got married to go get married?
No.
No.
Okay, was there some planning of this marriage at all?
Yeah.
Was there a date set in advance of the marriage?
No.
No.
So you just got up one night and decided to go do it?
Yeah.
No. That is not how it happened. That is not how it happened.
It happened like this. After the incident of me sleeping with my baby mama, I didn't tell Kendra what happened. And a couple weeks...
I'm not talking about telling Kendra that you had an affair with the baby's mother. The point is, you didn't tell the children's mother that you were marrying, and you said you didn't tell her.
After we were married.
I ain't
because you didn't know that it was going to happen.
He didn't tell her until
I didn't tell her till after we was married.
Exactly. You know why?
And my point is, why not?
She knew I was in a relationship, but she didn't know I was getting married.
No.
I thought you didn't tell her you were in a relationship.
I told her that I was in a relationship, but
No, he didn't.
But I didn't, you know, I didn't go into depth.
That's what happens when you tell a lie.
Uh-huh. You
cannot repeat it.
See, okay.
And you never say the same thing twice. Because you have stood here and said 3 different things about the situation already in less than 5 minutes. Now, if you're dating Mrs. Gaston and you set a wedding date, did you people set a wedding date?
No, we didn't set a wedding date.
So how did it happen? How did you get married?
We got married because Kevin asked me to
I didn't
marry
ask how, when?
a month before all of this came to the light. Actually, it was a few weeks before that.
Ms. Gaston, did you sit down and discuss, we are going to be married? Today is August 2nd. We're going to get married August 15th.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about when I say set a date.
Yes, we did.
Ooh. Shoot. That was a simple question.
Yes, we did. Yes, Your Honor, we did. We sat down and discussed when we were going to get married before we got married.
Whew.
Yes.
Now, why couldn't you tell the children's mother then that you were about to be married, knowing that they would have a stepmother?
They were
know.
oh no, they were interacting with stepmommy already.
That's the children. I'm talking about mother.
I just didn't come out and tell her.
Were you still having a relationship with her, Mr. Gaston? Simple question.
No, I wasn't still having no relationship with my kids.
Well, did you have sex with her a month before you married Mrs. Gaston? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so now do you call that a relationship or you just call that having sex? What you call it?
Just having sex.
Okay, so good, you told the truth. So if you're with Mrs. Gaston, about to marry her, why are you dealing with the other kid's mother when you said that relationship is over?
It came to where it was just it happened.
Just an old biological urge that you just couldn't resist. Is that what you're telling me?
No.
So what do you mean then by it just happened?
Man, things went. It was like this.
I ain't a man, first of all.
Well, excuse me. You know,
But if that's what you need to say to explain yourself, then go ahead.
that ain't what I need to say. But it happened.
You were just sitting there?
No.
No, I wasn't just sitting there.
Your
I was-
penis jumped out your pants?
No.
And it happened.
No.
When divorce court continues,
Well, he was so in love with you, he was trying to get it for you, so he was willing to sell his body.
Yeah, but I mean, I went to my kid's father. I told him what my situation was. I didn't sleep with him.
Did he give you the money?
No.
That's why you get your money.
if you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court continues in the case of Kendra Gaston, who discovered her husband Kevin was cheating the day after their honeymoon.
We was going through a situation, me and Kendra. We was going through a little financial difficulty, you know what I'm saying? Then I went down there, I talked to my kid's mother, and it was like
You
in
need a
order
little
for
money.
me, yeah, I needed some money in order for me to get some money from her. That's what
You
I
had to sell
do.
yourself.
Yeah, basically, I had to sell myself.
How much, Mr. Gaston?
$100.
$100?
Yeah.
So you risk a relationship with Mrs. Gaston, whom you said you were now in love with, and you were through with the other woman for $100.
Yes.
Was it worth it?
No.
One thing had nothing to do with the other. I was in the same it was my financial situation that we were in.
Well, he was so in
It wasn't
love
my
with you, he was
bills.
trying to get it for you, so he was willing to sell his body.
Yeah, but I mean, I was in a financial bind too. I went to my kid's father. I talked to him. I told him what my situation was. I didn't sleep with him.
Did he give you the money?
No.
That's why you get your money. That's why you didn't get your money.
But even so, one thing, I still wouldn't have prostituted myself for money
Well,
with my kid's
apparently
father.
your morals and your integrity are much
No.
higher than Mr. Gaston's.
Exactly.
So, but my point is, so you find this out after you're married to him.
The day we returned from our honeymoon, the phone rang. My best friend was there visiting. She answered the phone. She gave me the phone, and his kid's mother, she was very polite. She asked how.
And was itching to tell you. Just couldn't wait
she
till you got back.
She couldn't wait.
Couldn't wait?
She couldn't wait, and she just went on and on about everything that happened, and my mouth just fell open because I trusted Kevin I mean, I really, really, really trusted
Ms.
him.
Gaston, but that happened before he married you.
It happened
He
before.
probably had sex with a whole lot of women before he married you. What's the
That's
difference?
true. Because he was still lying. The day we were married, I could see it before we got married. He said, well, Kendra, there's something I have to tell you, before we go ahead and get married. This is something that I did before we got married. I'm very sorry.
What was he going to do, call the roll? Because it probably was more than one.
As far as I know, I don't know. But, that was the time where he was supposed to tell me, before we got married, before we said I do, that was the time where he was supposed to come clean and tell me this is something that happened before.
And you would have married him, right?
No, probably not, no.
What happened to forgiveness? You couldn't forgive?
After I found out everything that happened, Kevin told so many lies. I couldn't trust him.
Told so many lies about what?
He had to tell one lie to cover up after another. One lie after a lie after lie after lie. Even after the day she called and told me everything that happened, when he came, he went to the store when, in the course of this phone call. When he came back from the store, I told him, I said, I said, your kid's mother called and she told me everything that happened. When you were down there with her, she lied. She lied. That ain't happened. That didn't happen. She lying. We can go to her job right now and go and we could confront her because she lying. She just telling you that. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
You were just scared to own up to the truth. You just running from the truth.
Yes.
He still lied.
And you probably still lied about something else, huh?
No.
So what did you expect to accomplish?
I ain't expect it.
But you can't forgive him for that?
It's not that I can't.
You just can't trust him again.
I
if you go
can't
over to the
forgive him,
house.
but I can't forget. But every time she calls, it's like because we have children, because they have children together.
Right.
I have to, she calls and I just get this feeling over me like, every time I hear her voice over the phone, it's not that I don't like her personally. It's just that I just keep thinking to myself, last year he just slept with her.
And he may sleep with him when he go pick up the kids this weekend, huh?
Now I can go with him to pick up the kids. See, that's how all of this came out, is because
But you know what, Mrs.
he didn't tell her that he didn't tell her that he was married until one day I asked him, this is right the same week we got married. He said, it was the weekend. And he said, I'm going to pick up my kids. And I said, this time, no, I'm coming with you. Because usually I'll run down there, I'll be right back. And he's a man, so he gets dressed a lot quicker than I do. And I'm like, no, hold on, I'm going with you. I was ready. I was ready this day. I was showered, hair curled. I'm like, I'm going. And I got dressed and I'm like, okay. And all of a sudden he's like, well, I have to go to the store. So I'm like, what you got to go to the store for? He's like, I got to get some cigarettes or something. So I'm like, oh, I didn't think about it. I'm like, okay, just hurry up and come back. He's like, the store is right around the corner from where we lived. And it takes him like 15 minutes.
He went to make a phone call, huh?
He went to make a phone call. That's how he told his kid's mother that he was married.
He said, got something to tell you before we come over there.
Right.
Is that what you did, Mr. Gaston?
Yes. Yes, that's what I did.
When divorce court continues.
I learned now because,
you probably still running around lying.
I don't have no reason to lie, you know what I'm saying?
It's out in the open now, huh?
Yeah.
Closed captioning for divorce court provided by... If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court continues in the case of Kevin Gaston, who admits it was a huge mistake to have sex with his ex for money.
Mr. Gaston, you just have a hard time facing the truth and dealing with issues, huh?
Yeah, pretty much so.
You run from him. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
He tried to lie his way out of it, is what he did.
Well, he just has a hard time dealing with that kind of stuff, and you need some help. So you can learn how to just own up and stand up and be a man for, and just face the truth and reality of life.
I learned now because,
Oh, you probably still running around lying.
No, I ain't. I don't have no reason to lie, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like...
It's out in the open now, huh?
It's out there, and...
So, but I still don't understand. Don't you think that's usually what happens when people marry someone that already has children and they have to keep interacting with the other, with the children's other parent? There's always that, that question, is he or is she? That's real easy. You can find a way that he can pick up the children that he never has to interact with her.
Well, that wasn't the case at the time. I mean, now I think about that now, but then it was just,
So you're going to end a marriage over that?
I don't trust Kevin. I can't trust Kevin as far as I can throw him. And we see he ain't that smart.
Well, you know what? You're running too. You're just running from life too, because let me tell you something. That was one situation. You get into another relationship, there are going to be other instances of lies and untruths, because we're all human. None of us tell the truth all the time.
That's true.
So if you're going to run from a relationship and run from somebody, I mean, look at the big picture. What's the big picture? What does Mr. Gaston do for you? What type of man is he? What does he do for your children? What caused you to be married in the first place? Look at the big picture, not that one little situation and decide I'm gone. You can't salvage this with some counseling, working on it with a little help. Think about it. There had to be a reason you married this man.
There is. I love him.
Something good.
He's a good person. He's a good man. He's a good.
He's just a little cowardly on facing up to things that he does.
He lied so much.
And he's going to
though.
get some counseling to teach him how to deal with that, aren't you, Mr. Gaston?
Yes.
You got to grow up a little bit. That's all.
Yeah.
You can't run from everything.
No.
You've been used to running or lying to cover up instead of just facing things.
Yes.
Being honest about it, telling the truth. Look,
Well,
this is what I did.
I learned from my mistakes, so that's why right now I love my wife dearly, and I want to save my marriage.
Have you told her that?
Yes, I told her that.
Did you ask her not to get a divorce?
Yes, I asked her.
She said you didn't.
Yes, he did. He
Oh.
did, but I wasn't willing at the time because I'm mad.
The divorce court continues.
I love you dearly, and I want to save my marriage, Kendra. I love you.
Ms. Gaston?
Divorce court continues in the case of Kevin Gaston, who says he wants one more chance at marriage with his wife, Kendra.
So if I order you all into some counseling, can you handle this? 1 year. You haven't given it time.
I did give it time. Every month he said, "Give me 3 months. Give me another 3 months." Okay, I did.
You ain't. That's not
Some
time.
more incidents?
That's not time. It
Oh,
ain't
no,
no more
this is
incidents.
just-
It's
this
just
is the same
me and her
incident.
just working
Just
this
keep
one
hashing
incident.
over the same old thing.
It comes up.
It keep coming up.
It's a
we can
constant
be cool
argument.
1 week, then the next week she get mad at me. She throws it in my face. You know what I'm saying? Like, you did this, you did that. And all I can do is say, I know what I did.
And guess what, Ms.
And I
Gaston?
apologize.
You got a turn coming that you're going to do something.
Not like that.
I didn't say what. And I'm not suggesting you're going to be unfaithful, but you're going to do something that's going to upset him.
I'm human. I make mistakes. He made a mistake, I know. But he just lied. He just lied.
Okay, tell her you're sorry for lying.
I'm sorry for lying, and I apologize, and I love you dearly, and I want to save my marriage, Kendra. I love you.
Ms. Gaston?
I love him too. I love him too. I mean, maybe I could get past it with some counseling, but
I think you can.
it was
It's just a year.
It's just been a year. It has. Things do take time.
Yeah, relationships take time. No one seems to understand that these days. It's like everything is instant. He made me mad, I'm out of here. I go get me a new one. That's not what marriage is.
No.
You get into another relationship, somebody's gonna make you angry. Somebody's going to lie to you. Something's going to be said that you don't like. What you gonna do, just keep running and keep changing partners all the time?
No, because I have kids and I couldn't do that. I couldn't keep bringing someone into my kid's life and taking them back
Good.
out. No, I wouldn't do that.
Say that again.
I wouldn't do that.
Not.
I would not.
That's the message I've been trying to get over. You can't keep bringing all these different people into your children's lives.
They're used to Kevin.
It's not
They only
fair.
know Kevin and their father, and I wouldn't do that.
All right, I'm gonna order you into some marital counseling. At least 6 months minimum. You may need to go longer. You may find out there are some other issues going on that you don't know about in terms of his past and yours, vice versa, all right?
Okay.
That may impact the marriage. So stay in there, all right? Work on it. Work on it. Mr. Gaston, you gonna give it your all?
Always.
All right. That's the order of the court. Best wishes.
All rise. Parties may leave the courtroom.
Ooh, it's so nice to find sensible people.
What a way to end the day.
Well, what a nice ending.
That is, that is. Boy, I liked hearing her say she wasn't going to be bringing people in and out of the kids' lives.
I could have jumped up and kissed her.
You couldn't say it any better from up there.
I couldn't have said it any better. And that's what I've been saying.
Yeah.
Somebody finally heard it.
Yeah.
So that just goes to tell me I'm going to keep saying it.
There's hope. There's
I'm going
hope.
to keep saying it until more people hear it. Couldn't you look at this little boy and tell he was a little boy?
The age difference was never a problem.
Oh, come on, Miss Lee. Your generation says this is the way we have sex. You don't even have the same ideas, do you?
No.
You slow it down, he's speeding up, right? He's listening to NSYNC, and you listening to BB King.
We had no problems until
No, she
Daddy
started getting
started
lazy.
cheating.
Younger women you were cheating with?
Yes, because she's too old. I mean, she don't want to do nothing.
29-year-old Danny Lee says he made the worst mistake of his life when he married a woman nearly twice his age, and now he wants out in today's session of Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Judge Mablean Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is a matter of Danny Lee versus Shirley Lee. And Mr. Lee, I'm advised that you're coming to court asking for spousal support from your wife. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, maybe my clerks were wrong when they told me this, but I'm told that she's 52, you're 29,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
You married her when you were about 20 years old?
No, when I was 23.
But you
No.
started dating her when you were still a kid.
Yes, ma'am.
She was your next door neighbor,
Yes, ma'am.
and you fell in love with her.
Yes, ma'am.
What attracted you to her?
She was nice, and she was okay once in a blue moon.
She was nice.
Yeah.
You were
and-
looking for a nice woman?
No, she was all right. And
Well, when you was I understand that you were 17 years old.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
lived next door to this woman,
Yes,
Mrs.
ma'am.
Lee, right?
yes,
Is that
ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
She had 6 children,
Yes, ma'am.
all older than you.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you play with her children?
No, ma'am.
So her children weren't your friends?
No, ma'am, that was not.
That's not
Did she
true.
come in and out of your house or something? Did she do something special for you as a next door neighbor that neighbors didn't usually do? What was the attraction?
It was like in the country, only like there was no women around.
Oh, a lack of women. What part of the country was this?
Virginia.
So the women were few, far, and in between?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's not like the rest of the world is 7 to 1. Women outnumber men.
I know, but we didn't have no women around. It's like it was like the boonies, and the women was like far away from each other.
So Mrs. Lee didn't have any daughters? You didn't have any daughters?
Yeah, I have 5 daughters and 2 boys.
Oh, wait a minute.
When Danny and I
Wait,
met,
hold it. You were his next door neighbor
yeah, I stayed with my
with
parents. We were
5
neighbors.
daughters.
No, my children were grown and they were not at home.
Well,
No,
So
I
you-
have a 14-year-old son that was 2 years old at the time that we met. That was the only one, and I had grandchildren that I was taking care of. When I met
Well, how old were
Donald,
the grandchildren that were living with you?
they were young, school age.
So when you met Mr. Lee, your other children, other than your one son, had moved
Were
out of
away
your
from
home.
the home, yes. They were
So
grown.
they lived far away from him, so he couldn't see any girl?
No, that's not true. And when I met Donald, he told me that he was 18. I did not know that he was 17 until the day that he turned 18.
Well, you were the next door neighbor. How long had you lived there?
Only for a couple of months.
And did you meet his
For a
parents?
couple of months. Yeah, I met his parents, and his mother was nice. We got along real good.
So having met his parents and living a little longer than him, couldn't you look at this little boy and tell he was a little boy?
No.
Oh, come on, Miss Lee.
Young in age, but he was very mature. He was very hardworking. He took care of his mother, and then when we got together, he loved me and took care of me.
Miss Lee, you're a grown woman.
Yes.
You have children that are adults and moved out of your house.
True, true.
So that means you raised these children.
Right.
And when you raise 6 children, you kind of learn, you know, age differences and what a 5-year-old acts like and what a 6-year-old act like and what a 17-year-old acts like.
When you love somebody, there's no age difference.
How did you ever fall in love with him?
It just happened. The age difference was never a problem.
Okay, wait just a minute.
Never a problem.
Stop, because you ran past it. It just happened. How did you fall in love with him?
It wasn't love at first sight.
What was it?
I liked
Lust?
him. No, it wasn't lust.
What was
liked him. We were together for a little while before we even did anything. I liked him because he was hardworking. He was good to his mother. I liked the way he loved and took care of his mother.
So you were a very responsible young man.
Yes, ma'am. And then when I met her, and she took like advantage over me
That's
doing
not
that
true.
at the time.
What do you mean she took advantage
That's
of you?
not true.
It's like when she saw me working and everything, and I don't know what happened.
And what were you gonna provide for?
At first, I couldn't do anything for her. And then when I started working and everything, and she needed something, and then she looked at me like I was the
He's always
the
worked.
money
Donald
thing.
pursued me for 10 years straight. Danny asked me
You need to
marry
hush your
him
mouth talking about pursued you for 10 years.
Oh, yes, he did. Oh, yes, he did.
I wouldn't care if he
And
pursued
we got
you.
to be friends, and then we both fell in love
then
with each
after
other,
that-
and we got married
Hold
just
on.
3 years
What do you
ago.
mean pursued you for 10 years?
We were together for 13 years. We've been married for 3.
And
So you lived together for 13 years? Is that what you're telling me?
Just about, yes.
So 10 years of that you were unmarried to him?
Right.
So why do you claim that he pursued you? What were you doing?
When he first kept, coming to see me, he would find out where I was. If I needed a ride, he would come and pick me up. And when we first met, he told me that he loved me and that he was going to marry me one day. And I said, no, you're not. I'm through changing Pampers. And I didn't pay any attention to it. But over the years, he kept coming, and we just started
And you
going
didn't keep
out
sending him
together.
away when he kept coming either, did you?
No,
Yes,
not
you
after
did.
And why
a
didn't you
while, I
send him
didn't.
away when he kept
Not
coming?
after a while. I sent him away one time.
But he's a teenager. He's a young boy.
He was a very responsible man.
after all
And there
that-
were no men around in your neighborhood that was responsible?
I wasn't looking for anybody. I wasn't
She had
even
a
looking for
boyfriend.
anybody when I met Danny.
she had an older guy before I met her.
And what was the older guy doing, not providing for her?
I guess it wasn't.
That was an
and
older relationship that he's talking about.
But it wasn't an older guy. Was he a teenager
Oh,
too?
yeah, it was an older guy in an older relationship. It was an ex-boyfriend.
But okay, why was he an ex?
Why was he an ex?
he wasn't an ex when we met.
Yes,
he
he
was
was.
going. She was living with him when I met her, and stuff like that.
I was living with
And
my parents.
then-
Wait, we're losing track. At some point, you became attracted to each other, as hard as that is for me to believe, but I guess it happens.
It happened.
It really happens.
Yeah.
Because, see, you and I are the same age.
Okay.
And I just can't see myself. I'm trying to figure it out.
But it happened.
My next door neighbor that's 17, that would be my granddaughter's friends. That's the age it would be. My granddaughter's friend, I'm gonna flirt with, fall in love with, have sex, and marry my granddaughter's friend.
You know what? All that as it may be, it happened.
It's scary.
It happened. And it wasn't scary. Daniel had no problem with my age, not whatsoever.
Yes, I do. Now I got a big problem with it.
The only thing that I couldn't do that he could do is run because I have asthma. Other than that, there's not
she can even
anything.
get a
You can keep up with it.
I always kept up
Okay,
with
well,
him.
let's talk about mine. 52-year-olds and 17-year-olds. He's listening to who? I don't even know. SNL? What is those people called? NSYNC? And you listening to B.B. King?
No, we had a lot in common.
When divorce court continues,
Your generation says this is the way we have sex. You don't even have the same ideas, do you?
No.
You slow it down, he's speeding up, right?
if you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court continues in the case of Shirley Lee, as she testifies that even though she was twice Danny's age, she says they still had a lot in common.
Our music was the same, just as our food tastes were the
How
same.
is your music the same with that?
It was the same. I like jazz, he liked jazz.
I
We
just listened to the
regular
music with her because she was listening to it constantly. I don't even like jazz.
You listen to gospel, we listen to all kinds of music.
I listen to gospel and stuff like that, but I didn't never feel like that. I feel like you have
You
really
need to stop lying.
I'm not lying to
So
you.
you said now he's just talking all this mess, but you really had a lot in common.
13 years, yes,
Is that what
we
you're trying to
did.
tell me, Miss Lee? You
Yes,
had a
we
lot
did.
I
in
felt
common.
bad because
Yes,
she
we
couldn't
did.
take care of herself.
Sometimes I was his age and sometimes he was my age, and that's just the way it was. We balanced each other
I wasn't
out.
your age.
We had a lot of good times in those 13 years.
Whoo,
And if it
Lord,
wasn't
this is
right,
a
you
case
wouldn't
for
have been there for
where's the
13 years.
psychologist? Because I need one. You had a lot in common.
Yes. And the reason
And
for
you
this
balanced things
breakup
out
has
when you
nothing
had
to do
that
with
big of
my
a difference in age. I believe that. I mean, you don't even like, your generation says, this is the way we have sex. You don't even have the same ideas, do you?
No, we don't. No.
You
we don't.
slow it down, he's speeding up, right?
Yes,
What do you
ma'am.
mean I'm slowing down?
Well, at his age, he's in the prime. How was your sex life?
The sex life was beautiful. We had no problems until
No, she
Danny
started getting
started
lazy.
cheating. Danny started cheating. He even had a woman in my bed. He moved women into my house while I went on vacation to visit my children in Detroit. And the reason for this breakup is because I never stopped loving him, but I withheld affection because I could not come to grips with his cheating on me, sleeping with women in my bed, and lying to me. That is the reason for
Because
this
she
breakup.
don't give me sex.
happened? Was it
Nothing to
cheating?
do with my age.
Younger women you were cheating with?
Yes, because
Why?
the only why I was cheating with her because she too old. I mean, she don't want to do
That's
nothing.
a lie. The first day that you cheated on me, you left our bed and went and got another bed with another woman, and you told me the reason why is because the girl was there and opened her legs. They were
And you
easy,
too
and that's
old.
why you
I mean,
did
she
it.
sit around
Don't
and she
even
muck
try.
around all day long. Don't want
I'm
to do
not
nothing.
gonna.
You know
What do you mean by
You can see the stuff that I do. I am not a lazy person. I
Yes,
had a
she is.
garden. My garden is bigger than this courtroom.
That's what
Don't
she
you
think about. She
dare
don't never
say
think
I'm
about her
lazy.
husband or nothing like that. She think about her kids, the garden,
I
and
spent
other
more
things
time
like
in
that.
the garden after he started cheating, spending nights out and sleeping with other women. The reason why he broke up with the first girl is because she came and told me what was going on. Told me, I'm taking him to work every morning at the hospital. Little did I know that I'm taking him to the job where he is going with this woman. He breaks up with the woman in the kitchen and starts going with the woman in the cleaning department. Same hospital.
Because she wasn't doing your
Both of
job.
these women come and tell me
All the
what
younger,
my
right, Ms.
husband
Lee?
is doing.
Yeah, they're all
Miss Lee,
young.
Miss Lee, when you're talking about a 17-year-old who's attracted to you, let's say that he was attracted to you when he was 17 years old,
Okay.
even up until age 20. Now, it is not uncommon for 17-year-olds to be attracted to older women.
Sure.
I get that attraction all the time, but it's incumbent upon older women and older men to say you're a child.
But
Just because they're attracted to you. That's part of the growing up process. I recall very vividly my attraction to my 6th grade teacher. Right? When I'm in the 6th grade, here's my teacher. But my teacher did not say, okay, I'm going to act on that attraction. Because
well,
we're the
acted on it.
adults.
I acted on it, and I do not feel bad about it.
All right.
I don't feel bad about
So
it at
now,
all.
when he started going with and getting interested in younger women, you didn't realize that at some point, the aging process, you get older, he gets more mature. Then he realizes, I have
He
a
was
mother
supposed to
here,
get
not a
more mature.
girlfriend. He's going to realize, I have a mother, not a wife, not somebody that's equal with me. That's what happens when you have that big of a difference. So then naturally he starts to get attracted to the younger woman. Not that
Okay,
I'm
so that
justifying
happened.
the adultery because you're still married.
Right.
And you should have thought about that too, that she was going to get older.
I know I did, and now it's really affecting me because I'm stuck with somebody older than I am, and I don't want to be like
So
that.
how did
You're
the kids,
stuck
what did the
with
kids
me.
feel about this? How'd you get along with her kids?
They don't like me. They didn't like me for the whole 13 years we've been together.
At first,
Hold on a
I
second.
didn't like it, but then when they
Still
saw
don't
how
like
good
it.
he was to me and that he really loved me, they got along with it. As
Yeah, as
time
long
went
as I
on
was
and he
paying the
started
bills.
disrespecting me, cussing me out among other things, then they started turning against him. When he started cheating on me, they really didn't like
But
that.
they don't have
saw
nothing to do
how
with the
hurt I was.
relationship.
I
So
went
now-
from 225 pounds down to 165 pounds because
That was
of
good for
stress.
your health.
Yeah, but I mean, still, I wasn't fat.
I'm not being funny about that.
But it was because
I don't know what
of
caused it,
stress.
but the-
because of stress.
When divorce court continues.
You must have thought that you were walking into a child's court. This is not children's court, and this is not play court.
Closed captioning for divorce court provided by If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court continues in the case of Danny Lee, who says he wants out of the marriage because his wife Shirley is too old for him.
You came to court asking me to order her to pay you support every month, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what kind of work does she do? She doesn't do anything but her crafts and work in the garden. What's she do?
She get a little bit money in her household.
I get disability because I have asthma.
What, about $600 a month? You're the one that's the hard worker, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're still working, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You've been working.
Yes.
Always. That's what you said.
Yes, ma'am.
You've always supported her and her children, the grandchildren, and all of them.
Yes, ma'am.
So what makes you think all of a sudden that she's supposed to pay you support?
Because all the years, they never give me anything. And the stuff that's in the house, she broke up my things. Like my stereo, she broke it up. She broke up my, she told my clothes. She took everything that was mine.
I don't want to hear all that.
No.
You're breaking up.
That's not true.
You say she's too old and can't satisfy you anymore. She says you just become a little homemonger and you're just running around with other women and you're cheating.
Thank you.
And that's why you're breaking up.
No.
Yes,
Just
it is.
stop. And you want her to pay you, but you've been the provider all of these years, 3 years of marriage and 13 years of the relationship. You've always taken care of her and her children, so you say.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of money were you making?
I work, sometimes I'll be working 2 jobs. Sometimes.
That's not what I asked you. What kind of money were you making?
Almost minimum wage.
I didn't ask him. Minimum wage.
Almost.
No.
Oh, please. Come on now. Now, you all walked in here. You must have thought that you were walking into a child's court. This is not children's court, and this is not play court. You walked in here to me. You're making minimum wage to tell me that you provided for Mrs. Lee and 7 children.
Yes,
her grown
ma'am.
children and the grandchildren on top of it. About 10 or 12 people. Ms. Lee says, no, he didn't. I've always had my own money, and my children have helped to support me.
She took her money, and she was buying craft and stuff like that. She didn't know what to take her money.
Okay, Mr. Lee, here's the law, and you need to learn a good lesson now. First of all, I don't know why you were attracted to Ms. Lee. That's your business. But once you married her, you married her. That's your business. But just because you were 20 and she was 45 or 49 doesn't change the law. You're still husband and wife. Now, just because you've gotten older now and realize that I don't want an older woman, I want a younger woman, and you're ready to get out of the relationship, doesn't change the law any. If you provided for her, then you can't ask for spousal support, because spousal support is to keep you in the same standard of living. You were the only one working, and you provided the standard of living. You're still the only one working according to you, and you're providing the standard of living. As a matter of fact, you're in a better position now because you only have to take care of Mr. Lee with the money that you're making. Fortunately, there were no children involved, and all you have to do is take your money that you were making and take care of one person as opposed to 12. So now you're in a better position than you were during the marriage while you were living together. So I can't order her to pay you spousal support.
The divorce court continues.
Something's missing in your life, but you can't get it from a kid. Get a man on your level that thinks like you think.
Divorce court continues in the case of Danny Lee, who says his wife Shirley is too old for him, and now he wants her to pay him spousal support.
Now, you didn't think too clearly as a teenager. And I've heard a proverb that say, when I was a child, I thought as a child. I acted as a child, and I did childish things, but now I'm a man. So you have to do it differently. You're not 17, you're not 20 anymore. So now you have to think with your head, this part. This head, not that other head. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mrs. Lee, I don't know what you were expecting from this. And you say that you're just as good, you're on the same level, but you're not. You're not. And I don't know what you're looking for. Something's missing in your life, but you can't get it from a kid.
It's missing now.
Yeah, something's
wasn't
missing.
missing then.
No, yes it is. You can't get it from a kid. Got to find something else to satisfy you, not a child. Get a man on your level that thinks like you think, that can share the same ideas and thoughts, can talk about the past. He can't even talk to you about 20 years ago. Companionship. Maybe now that your children are all grown and gone, maybe you were just one of those kind of doting, caring mothers that now that all of your children are grown and gone, you still really need somebody in the house with you to help you care, to care for them. Maybe that's what you're missing. But adopt a child. Don't go after kids anymore, all right? All right, that's the order of the court. Your request is denied.
All rise. Parties may leave the courtroom.
I just hate to think of it. She's my age,
can't
Joe.
believe she's
my age. And when I think of that, it's like, and I'm single, and I'm ready to be remarried. I hope I don't get that desperate that I go after a 20-year-old. If I do, you come and get me here.
Right. All right.
After 14 years of marriage, my husband came home one day and decided he was going to get a divorce because he's gay.
I'm here because I'm ready to live my life as a happy gay man. For 35 years, I've done everything that everybody wanted me to do and not what I wanted to do. So I made everybody happy. So she wanted me to get married. Who else better to marry than the only person I knew was my friend?
Friends don't just sleep together. We did sleep together.
I understand from my court papers that you offered to have a sex change, Mrs. Cruz?
Well, he wanted men.
But I didn't want you.
But you stayed 15 years in order to get more.
So that you can go back and take it back and sell it and pawn it and hawk it
Oh,
all.
my goodness. Didn't you start performing as a drag queen?
It was one of the first jobs he tried to keep.
I hate to say it, but you look better as a drag queen.
Sharon Cruz says her husband Max used her to cover his secret life. Now she wants him to pay child support for the child they are adopting. In today's session of Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Judge Mablean Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
This is the matter of Max Cruz and Sharon Cruz. And Mr. and Mrs. Cruz, I understand that you've been married for 14 years. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Cruz, you're asking the court to order child support for a grandchild that you have guardianship over?
It's a child that's a biological granddaughter that we're in the process of adopting as our child. She knows me as mama and him as daddy.
And how old is this child?
She's 3.5.
All right. And now you're in the process of adoption and you still want to follow through on that adoption?
Yes, ma'am.
Even despite this divorce?
I'm not divorcing the child.
You're divorcing the wife, is that right?
Divorcing the wife, yes, ma'am.
Ooh, if I could get more people to understand that. Now, this relationship is ending because you say that your husband is doing what?
After 14 years of marriage, he comes home and decides he wants to get a divorce because he's now gay.
He just became gay after 14 years?
I guess so.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
And before then, there was no evidence of it?
Well, now that I look back, there's probably things I should have noticed, but he was my knight in shining armor, and the first one was horrible to me, so I guess this one was supposed to be right. Now I know I'm not.
The knight in shining armor.
It's now a knight in a sequin dress.
Probably the one that you
Ms.
picked
Cruz,
out for me a couple of times,
Mr.
too.
Cruz,
Excuse me?
was he ever a knight? I mean, that's the storybook, the fairy tale dream. But after 4 marriages, you're not looking for a knight still, are you?
He was everything I wanted.
What was that?
Sweet.
What did you want?
He was sweet. He was kind. He was understanding. He was gentle. He was there for me. Just everything you could imagine.
And just because now you say he's turned gay, he's no longer sweet, kind, gentle, and understanding?
Not to me, no.
Your Honor, I know.
And you just discovered that he was gay?
When he comes home, he gave me a comment.
Just answer my question. You just discovered that he was gay?
Yes, I did.
No, ma'am, Your Honor. She knew that I was gay from the very get-go. She used to follow me to the clubs I used to go out to and park in the parking lot to see who I was leaving with.
And who did you leave with when she was following you to these clubs?
And it's exactly what you were doing.
I don't
Thank you
think
very
so.
much.
Before you married her?
Yeah. Excuse me?
Before you married her or afterwards?
Before. She used to follow me to the place I used to work at to make facial contact with me. She came into a place I used to work at. I used to work in a nursery. She came in and her friend bought $200 worth of grass to put it on the lawn just so she can make a purchase from me so she can talk to me.
No, when I
After
first
she met you at a club, I understand.
Yes.
She met you at a club. That was a stripper club, a male stripper club, right?
No, ma'am, it was a gay bar.
No.
Oh.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. The first club I saw him at was a country and western club, and the reason I followed him around to that nursery is because he had jeans on and had a cute rear end, which he doesn't have now.
What happened to his rear end? What happened to his rear end,
Well, I
Miss Cruz?
probably fed him entirely too much.
Oh,
Lord
my-
knows I did everything
Let me
else.
see. You still got a cute rear end. Turn around.
Flat. Just looks like a wall with a little crack.
And now, Miss Cruz, you gonna tell me that all of a sudden, see, none of
At
yours,
least I got a proportion.
none of yours is panning out. You met him at a club. He said it was a gay club. What kind of club was it?
I don't have any idea. I didn't go into it.
So how did you meet him at this club if you didn't go
Where
in?
I saw him when I walked, he's telling you a whole different story. When we first met was in Texas. It was at a country and western club. I watched him dance. I wanted to dance with him so bad.
And why? What
There
was he
was no
doing?
man he was dancing with.
Explain to the judge.
Hold on a
Explain
second,
to the
excuse
judge.
me. No.
I'm sorry.
You're going to explain what I asked.
I'm sorry.
You watched him dance and you wanted to dance with him so bad. You liked his gyrations, the way he moved his behind?
No, it was country and western dancing.
And so why did you want to dance with him so bad?
He just knew how to dance.
All right. And you were attracted to the way he moved and swayed doing the country western dance.
And he's a good-looking man.
All right. So then after that, how long did you watch this man before you married him?
A year.
1 solid year. And what did you do together during that year?
Everything.
And where'd you go
including
together?
buying him everything.
Where did you go together? What kinds of things did you do?
Oh, he had a birthday that I took him to California for his birthday because he wanted to go to Disneyland. Took him to a mall, gave him $2,500 so that he could go and buy stuff that he wanted at the mall. Bought him a $750 dog, a $450 cat, bought him cars, bought him anything he wanted.
Which I do
So
not
you
have any of
wanted
these.
somebody that you needed to do all this for?
I now know that I purchased a husband, but the problem was I didn't purchase a husband that was willing to have husbandly duties in a bedroom. That's what I purchased.
I could buy your story if it wasn't your 4th marriage.
Well, there won't be a 5th, I promise you.
Why did you marry her if you was gay?
At the time, it was pure pressure. I thought that
Who was pressuring you?
it was kind of it was one of these things of a fairy tale hope that my mother would want me to get married, have kids, and such as this.
That's not peer pressure. That's family.
Peer for me. She's my peer. She's
Your
one I
mother
looked
is
up-
not your peer.
She's one I looked up to. But I looked up to her and I did whatever she wanted me to do.
No, you do whatever she wanted you to do.
For 35 years, I've done everything that everybody wanted me to do and not what I wanted to do. So I made everybody happy. So she wanted me to get married. Who else better to marry than the only person I knew was my friend. For the full year, we were friends.
And she was willing to take care of you,
friends
right?
don't just sleep together. We did sleep together.
Well, in this courtroom, a lot of friends end up just sleeping together and it being just friends. That's been my experience in the divorce court.
I don't sleep with my friends.
Well,
of course, he does, but I don't.
They come in all the time saying we were just friends and we were sleeping together, so I thought it was the norm. So you decided to marry Mrs. Cruz, knowing that you really were interested in men
Correct.
as opposed to women,
Correct.
so that you could make your family happy.
Make my family happy, appease them for a while, but then after it was all over, that they realized that, I made the wrong decision, that I was not happy, and every time I tried to leave, to get out of this situation, she'd come back up to me, oh, I will give you this, I'll give you that. Come back, please. I need you, yada, yada, yada. That's a crock.
So at some
I heard
point,
this for 15 years of my life.
But you stayed 15 years in order to get more.
So that you can go back and take it back and sell it and pawn it and hawk it all
oh
with it.
my goodness. So hold on a second.
When divorce court continues.
I understand from my court papers that you offered to have a sex change, Mrs. Cruz?
Well, he wanted men.
But I didn't want you.
No, you wanted my money. You wanted my money is what you wanted.
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court continues in the case of Max Cruz, who admits he married his wife Sharon to hide the fact that he's gay.
You're giving and buying, he's receiving, and now at some point didn't you start performing as a drag queen during this marriage?
It was one of the first jobs he tried to keep.
Okay, now how long after the marriage was that?
It started out as, guess what I did one Halloween? I dressed up as a woman. I went to a club and I made a little bit of money. It's an easy way for me to make money. Well, when he doesn't get off his butt and work, please do whatever it takes to make some money. Yeah, go ahead and do that.
And how long was that? How long after you were married did you come to this conclusion?
A few years.
A few
like
years.
3 or 4?
Probably 3 or 4
So
years.
you told him to go on to the club and get a job as a drag queen?
Make some money.
What a joke.
And this is the person that you think is a man and likes men, and you wouldn't have it any other way, but you agreed and suggested that he can go and perform as a drag queen.
A job's a job. If he wasn't going to work for all that time, I was willing to do whatever it took to bring some extra money in, yes.
Which I didn't hardly ever see
So
that much
was
anyway.
he pretty convincing as a drag queen to you?
Yes, there's pictures.
Do you look like a woman?
He's beautiful. He makes me sick. He's beautiful.
I have some pictures here.
He's gorgeous.
Not bad. I hate to say it, but you look better as a drag queen than...
It's amazing what makeup will do to a person.
Makeup and hair does wonders, huh? If you hadn't told me and I just picked up this picture, I would think that you were a woman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm proud of what I do. This is a profession not any different from drag racing, what she likes to do. Build engines, what she likes. I like to do this because I'm good at what I do.
So you like to dress up as a woman.
Correct.
But you really want to be a man.
I'm happy being a man.
And
I do not
but
want
you
to have
like
a sex
relationships
change.
with the same sex.
Correct.
Now, speaking of that, I understand from my court papers that you offered to have a sex change, Mrs.
I
Cruz?
was so willing to try and make our marriage work that I would do whatever it took.
To me,
I
right
was not.
there
Did
is
I
a-
Hold on a
finish
second.
that
Stop.
sentence?
Let me hear this.
I was so willing, after 3 other marriages, I didn't want to fail again, and I was so willing that I was going to do whatever it took. And if that included having a sex change to keep my husband and keep our marriage, yes, at one
then
point.
I'm
glad I didn't do it now.
So you would become a man.
If I could have, I would have then, yes.
And you thought that that would make him interested in you?
Well, he wanted men.
But I didn't want you.
No, you wanted my money. You wanted my money is what you wanted.
Well, I still ain't seen the
and
money.
you know what? You brought up a very interesting point. Because whether it's male, whether it's female, whether the clothing, the sexual, bottom line, people are attracted to each other because of who they are. Not because of what they wear and not because of what they look like. That may be what is the beginning because we look at each other. But if he didn't like you anymore, you really think having a sex change operation would have made him like you as a person?
I was just willing to do whatever it took. I'm glad now that I didn't.
And in your honor, to me, that is not a sign of a stable mind. If you're willing to change your physical...
Wait a minute now. Wait. The pot is not about to talk about the kettle. Stable mind? When you acted for 35 years and pretended to be someone else to your family and others?
But I have not come to a person and say, I'm willing to change my sex for you.
But you said, I'm willing to change what I like and what I'm all about and who I really am, and I'm willing to lie for you, for mama, for friends, for appearances. That's what you said.
The only person I'm lying to would be myself.
You lied to others because you married your wife. You married a woman saying that I want a wife. You took a vow saying, I want a wife. And I want to be committed in a relationship with a female person.
But then you also realize I was young at this. This is my first marriage. I'm her 4th husband. She's been around the block a couple of times and she's rode the bus once, okay? She knows what to do. I didn't.
When divorce court continues.
I want to have this baby in my life and to let her know that I am still her daddy, no matter who I'm with, where I live.
Closed captioning for divorce court provided by If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court continues in the case of Sharon Cruz, who says she was willing to have a sex change to save her marriage after she found out her husband Max is gay.
There's also a thing she said about her money. She kept giving you things. That felt pretty good too, didn't it?
From where I was raised, yeah.
What are you talking about from the way you were raised?
I
Let's
wasn't.
do the pity pot story. Come on, do that one. I like that one. I've been raising kids since I was 10 years old. I like that one.
At least I got
I
got kids that still like me.
Let me hear it.
Hey, I've got a 3-year-old.
Hey, wait a minute.
We
I don't need
have a 3-year-old.
Mrs. Cruz, and it's really unfortunate. It's sad. How did you get this 3-year-old? Now, how did the two of you end up with a child and all this madness?
She's my biological granddaughter that my daughter, it was in a very unfortunate circumstance. He wanted a child. This child was not going anywhere because I was adopted, and we chose to raise her.
So now, explain to me how you hate this man so now. You're so angry with him. You're sitting here disrespecting him, calling him a bunch of names.
I haven't
Just
called him
hold
what
on
he
a
needs
second.
to be called.
Well, that's my point exactly. How are you going to disrespect him as a human being, disrespect him as a person, don't like anything about him, what he's doing, what he's all about, but yet you want him to be the father of your child? What are you going to tell the child?
She will never know anybody other than Daddy. He is the, okay, let's just cut down to the mustard.
Miss Cruz,
he's the best man
Mrs.
you
Cruz,
could ever
my
ask.
point exactly. So now that you've chosen the two of you.
Well, he's not going to dress up for her, Judge.
So you will be able to teach your daughter to respect Mr. Cruz as her father, despite your attitude and your hurt and your feelings toward him.
Absolutely.
I hope so.
Absolutely. I will not hurt her. I'm an adult. I can handle getting hurt.
What
I
about
won't
you,
hurt
Mr.
her.
Cruz?
It's like I said before, Judge. I'm divorcing Sharon. I'm not divorcing that baby. That baby is the world to me. She's my everlasting breath. I mean, I call her.
So how do you love the baby so and not love the other part of the baby, the two of you? How do you love this baby so but can't love each other?
The baby is
love him,
innocent.
Judge.
The baby is innocent in this.
So you still love him?
Yes, I do.
And so you're just striking and calling all these names and telling me this because you're hurt.
Yes.
So you're just throwing it out. But if he were to say to you now, Sharon, I'm sorry for what I've done to you in the past. Can we try it over? You'd be okay with that? Is that what you're telling me?
No. No.
You still love him, but you can't be with him.
I love him enough to let him go on now. Yeah.
And that's all I ask. You know, I'm not here to bash her. I'm not here to ask for all kinds of things like a lot of people do. All I want is my life to go on the way I want it to be going on. I want to have this baby in my life and to let her know that I am still her daddy, no matter who I'm with, where I live. She is my world. I call her at night.
So you paying support for this world that you love so?
I don't pay a specific amount. Whatever she wants, she gets.
The divorce court continues.
Who suffers?
The child.
But you guys knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing.
Divorce court continues in the case of Sharon Cruz, who wants her husband Max to pay child support for the child they are adopting.
I see a copy of the court order that has given you guardianship of this child.
Yes, ma'am.
But if you're talking about following through with an adoption, you need to understand what that really means. And if you're not sure about it, and if you want to do it when you want to and give her what she needs at the time you think she needs it, then you need to not follow through on the adoption procedures.
Your Honor, this was a choice I made 3 years ago.
But no, but the choice you made, you also made a choice 14 years ago to marry Miss Cruz. So we know the choices can be changed.
Yes, ma'am.
And
but
now,
this
hold
is
on a second.
I'm sorry.
You're not the biological father of this child.
Correct.
So you don't really have to take this responsibility. Now, when you make this choice, you can't walk away from it.
I understand this. I understand this very much.
You hear what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, are you working?
Yes, ma'am.
And is there a child custody order in place now that the two of you have separated?
No.
And you have guardianship?
No.
Right, I'm going to order you into mediation to work out a plan. I'm going to order child support of $500 per month. That's a temporary order because the person who really has the final say in these proceedings in terms of support, custody, and all is the guardianship court. And you've got to go back in there and do a report and let them know that the circumstances have now changed.
Yes, ma'am.
All right? Because the court made that order expecting that the two of you were going to be together and living together, raising this child. Now it's a new story. And who suffers?
The child.
But you guys knew what you were doing. You knew what you were doing.
Yes, you did.
And you now don't go into another relationship. Now you know what you want in your life, right?
I know exactly what I
All
want.
right. That's the order of the court. I wish you well.
All rise. Parties may leave the courtroom.
I really think that I've said enough and that nothing further needs to be said about that. You should at least know that you need to check out what a person is all about before you marry them at that age.
Sure.
If you haven't learned to look deep before you leap by 31 and by your fourth marriage, you'll never learn it.
I want a divorce from Rick because after every child we've had, he's walked out, and this is the fifth and final time I've had enough.
I want a divorce from Kim because, well, after 22 years, I just can't take it anymore, and she's the most boring person I know.
So you were 22 years old, you're having fun, you're
Life
going
is
to
good.
parties. Why did it have to stop because she had a child?
When the children were born, Kim changed. I didn't get any more attention.
So now you're jealous of your children. She paid them too much attention.
I think she's been in postpartum depression for 20-some years.
Oh, and I think you've been in postpartum depression for 20-something years as well. The only problem with it, you never produced a child.
So every 4 or 5 years, I make a mistake.
How the devil you gonna stand here and tell me that you make a mistake every 5 years? What's the mistake? Having the baby or leaving? Which one is the mistake?
She drives me loopy.
You stayed with him because it is your feeling that men are just weak and all men are cheaters, so it was okay.
I do think that.
Kim Ward says her husband Rick refuses to grow up and she wants the judge to order him to pay child support. In today's session of Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Judge Mablean Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, this is the matter of Kim Ward versus Rick Ward. And I'm told that after 22 years and 4 children and a back and forth relationship that you finally decided to divorce. Is that right, Mrs. Ward?
Yes, I have.
And you wanted to pay child support for the children.
Absolutely.
Now, is it right what I read in the papers that my staff gave me? That you have 4 children by this man, right?
Yes, I do.
And after each baby, you get pregnant, have a child, child reaches age 1 or 2, Mr. Ward leaves.
Yes.
Come back some point, right?
Yes, he does.
How long does it stay gone? A year, 2 years, 3 years?
It's different every time.
And then he comes back, you get a nut, you get pregnant again, cycle repeats itself.
Yes, it does.
And this happened 4 times.
4 times. This is the 5th time he's left.
The first one was very
So
short.
why is this one over? Why am I to
have
believe
had
that this
enough
one is over and you're not
because-
wasting my time today?
Because I've had enough, and I can't tolerate his attitude and the way he acts, and I just can't stand him anymore.
What could you tolerate before? What's his attitude today that it wasn't 22 years ago?
My kids were a lot younger then. I had babies, and now my youngest is 6 years old. And since he's been gone this time, we've been so happy in the house. And my
The children
attitude,
probably been happy all the time, every time he left. It was obviously it wasn't you that was happy.
That's a good call.
I haven't been happy with Rick, but this time this last year he's just been mean and hateful, and just I can't take it anymore. He puts me down constantly. And anytime anything goes wrong, he says, I want a divorce, I'm going to leave. It's always a threat. This time he said he wants a divorce. I said, then leave. I want you out. He wrote me a horrible letter, and I reread it, and I now see what he says all the time. It said that I was worthless, a waste of time, I'll never amount to anything. The house is disgusting. He had written in the letter something about, you left a pile of crap in the house. Me and the kids, of course, all the kids read the letter first.
What, he's trying to call you messy or nasty or something?
Right.
After 22 years?
Yes.
Oh, that's a bunch of crock.
It is.
What is your problem, Mr. Ward?
I've been saying that from day one.
So why are you back and forth if you've been saying it from day one?
Well,
why didn't you leave?
Well, I did leave many
5 times.
I still, to this day, love Kim very much. I just don't like her anymore. She's a good, nurturing mother, but that's all she has in her life.
So what is it that you loved about her, and now, no, you love her still, but you don't like her. What did you like about her that you don't like now?
Well, we had a lot of fun in the beginning.
What does that mean?
Well, we had good times together, going to baseball games, surfing. I mean, we just had good times together.
And how old were you when you married?
22.
And so you were 22
23.
years old with no children.
Right.
So you're going to baseball games, you're surfing, you're having fun, you're
Life
going
is
to
good.
parties.
Sure. Yeah.
You're just hanging out with each other, right?
Yeah, we were buddies.
Okay, so now you have a baby. What is she supposed to do after the baby is born?
Well, it's not, I don't know what she's supposed to do. It's what she did. I think she's been in postpartum depression for 20-some years.
Oh, and I think you've been in postpartum depression for 20-something years as well. Wow. The only problem with it, you never produced a child. You never carried a child.
Oh, I never carried one, but,
Why did it have to stop because she had a child?
Well, I think she used to listen to me.
What do you mean by that?
Well, if I made a recommendation of how something should be, then it would probably go that way. Now it doesn't work that way anymore.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, like anything, what we should pay, when we should pay it, where something should go,
Rick
what
never
we should
paid
do.
any bills.
Where you should go, where you shouldn't go.
Yeah.
So in other words, when she was your robot, it was okay.
It seemed to work out pretty good that way.
So you really wanted a machine that you could wind up, push a button, and say, do this.
No, this is what happened. When the children were born, Kim changed. And I know we all need to change a little bit, but...
How did she change, Mr. Ward?
Well, I didn't get any more attention. I didn't get the love that I needed, too. I'm a person, too. I need a little love.
So now you're jealous of your children. She paid them too much attention.
No, never jealous of the children.
So what do you mean you didn't get the attention that you needed?
I'm not quite sure what I meant by that either, I guess.
And it sounds like jealousy. When she spent time with the baby, you thought perhaps she shouldn't respond to the baby's crying. She should respond to your whining as opposed to the baby crying.
Well, everybody needs a little love, and I need it too. I needed some attention.
And so did Miss Ward. What do you think? What were you doing for her?
I thought I did quite a bit.
Like what?
Well, I brought her flowers occasionally. I always helped around the house. Not only did I work full time, I would come home and help. I would cook. I would clean.
What kind of work did you do?
I was in radio.
What were you doing in radio?
Broadcasting, sports announcing, air personality.
And what are you doing now?
Selling cars.
So what happened to your broadcast sports?
About 2 years ago, when I got out of the radio station, we had moved to Idaho Falls. I opened a couple of radio stations. I ran the whole thing, a lot of work, and was very good at it. I'm a very outgoing person, happy kind of guy.
So is it that you had too many women out there because your name, your voice was heard, and people were listening to you every day, and you became a celebrity, and you got excited about your celebrity status,
That's
and the
exactly
women
what
chasing you? Is that it?
In the beginning,
Rick was chasing now.
take a look at me. I don't have a lot of women chasing me, but in the beginning it was fun.
Chasing now.
It was exciting, and I did enjoy it, and I liked the attention that I got
from it. You liked all the attention from the fans and everybody who could hear your voice and know, oh, this is Mr. Ward from KJ25 radio station.
That's exactly what it was.
That.
And your wife was not your biggest fan anymore. You had bigger fans.
No, she wasn't my biggest fan anymore.
When divorce court continues.
So every 4 or 5 years, I make a mistake.
How the devil you gonna stand here and tell me that you make a mistake every 5 years? What's the mistake? Having the baby or leaving? Which one is the mistake?
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222. or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court continues in the case of Kim Ward, who says her husband Rick walked out on her every time she had a child.
I was always there. I was always there for Rick. He went out and he partied, and I stayed at home with the kids. He might call me up at midnight and say, you know, we're out the so-and-so, you want to come and join us? I'm like, you know, I have kids at home. What am I supposed to do, just leave them while they're sleeping?
So
You know, I couldn't find a babysitter at midnight.
So you met your husband, you guys were both partying and having fun.
Yes.
Then you became a mother and you no longer knew how to go out to party with him? Is that what you're telling me?
No, what happened was he would go to work and not come home, and I didn't know where he was. It's kind of hard to meet him up at a party if I don't even know where he is.
Okay, so this is after the first child he did that.
The first,
and he
second,
left you,
third,
right?
and fourth, yeah.
So why did you stay and keep having babies?
Because I always wanted, when I got married, I was going to be married and I was going to do whatever I could to keep it together. And I realized that Rick was immature and wanted to party, and I just thought
I don't think wanting to party is immature.
Hold on a second.
Except for that you wouldn't quit partying, ever.
So you're telling me that you're all innocent, that you didn't do anything wrong, that you were Miss Goody Two-Shoes and you just stayed at home and took care of your babies and worked at home.
I did work at home.
And there was nothing else going on.
There wasn't anything else going on except for that he wouldn't come home.
So what did you tell the kids every time Daddy left?
Oh, it was a different story every time. The first time I never told Ricky anything. He just left. He was only one. And I sat at home and cried all the time and begged Rick to come back. So after a couple months, he did.
A man makes a mistake every 4 or 5 years I make a mistake.
Oh, you ought to cut that bull out talking about you make a mistake every 4 or 5 years.
I'm not kidding.
How the devil you gonna sit here, stand here and tell me that you make a mistake every 5 years? What's the mistake? Having the baby or leaving? Which one is the mistake?
Not having the baby was never a mistake.
So what are you talking about? You make a mistake every 5 years or so?
Well, you know, maybe I go out, I stay out a little bit too late. Well, that turns into the biggest hubbub, you know,
That's
and then I
he did
hear
it all
about
the
it.
time.
I hear about it for the next 15 years.
He
The
went
problem
out and
was
had a lot of other women. And I was very forgiving. And
so with all this, I mean, I believe in forgiveness. Trust me, I do.
I'm a very forgiving person.
But why?
Because I was married to him and he always came back to me. And I wanted to be married. I wanted my husband to live with our children. I wanted a family.
Did you just simply accept that men cheating was a way of life and you couldn't do no better, you couldn't expect any better?
I figured that he was going to grow up eventually, and he just never did.
According to the papers my staff gave me, it says that you stayed with him because it is your feeling that men are just weak and all men are cheaters, so it was okay.
Well, that's...
I do think that. I do think that a lot of men cheat, yes.
I cheated.
So you think all men cheat and all men are weak and they just can't help themselves, and so your husband was no different than any other man?
Yes, she does.
Is that your attitude?
It kind of is, yeah.
That is her attitude.
I believe that men are...
Just born to cheat?
Yeah.
Cheaters, yeah.
And so even if so, you don't expect them to be monogamous, you don't expect them to be committed, you don't expect them to be true to you?
I do expect them to, but I expected Rick to love me enough to stay with me, to stay faithful, but then he didn't, and I figured, well, that's because.
Ms. Ward, have you ever gone into counseling?
I have.
We've done counseling together.
When was the last time you went into personal self-development counseling for Ms. Ward?
About 3-4 years ago. Actually, it was when Rick had left me the 4th time.
I want you to go into counseling for yourself.
When Divorce Court continues.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm proud of her if that's what she's doing.
You know, he says, I'm proud of you, but then again, it's always got to put down. I never get a compliment without a put down afterwards.
Closed captioning for Divorce Court provided by... If you would like to have the judge hear your case in Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce Court continues in the case of Kim Ward, who says she forgave her husband Rick for cheating because she believes all men cheat.
You seem to focus your attention on other people a lot. Your husband, your children. What are you going to do for Kim?
Actually, I've already started doing things
and what's
for
that?
myself. I'm getting into some businesses where I'm out with the public a lot and meeting new people. And it's a lot of fun.
Selling makeup.
So now you're having fun again.
I am. I'm having a great time.
What are you doing selling makeup?
I sell Mary Kay.
That's wonderful.
It is.
So you're feeling good about yourself?
I feel great. And my kids feel great. And my kids are proud of me, and I'm proud of myself, and I feel
And
fine.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of her if that's what she's doing. I've been trying to get her to do something
See,
for a long time.
He says, I'm proud of you, but then again, he says, selling makeup. It's always got to put down. I never get a compliment without a put down afterwards.
Oh.
Well, that's because Mr. Ward has to pick himself up. And the way he pulls himself up is by putting you down.
I do realize that. I do realize
because
that.
you're not satisfied with yourself either. You're seeking something. Oh, no, you're not.
I'm seeking something because I sure wasn't getting it at home for 20-some years.
You need to go into counseling, too, and stop blaming others and not getting it from home.
No, I'm not blaming. I'm not blaming
Stop,
Kim.
Mr. Ward. I don't want to hear I wasn't getting it from home and I'm seeking something. There is a void in your life that you need to learn to fill without another woman and without wanting someone else to give you praise and adulation. You lost the celebratory status when you lost the radio station. You didn't have your fan club going anymore, so now you don't know what to do with yourself. You got to create another fan club. You don't need a fan club when you like yourself. Whether anybody recognizes you or not, whether anyone says hello, whether you get fan mail coming, whether the women are chasing you or not. If you like you, you can live with you.
I like me. I do like me, and I don't go out.
You need some counseling as well.
Well, I may.
Because
I've been broken.
No, you're a father.
You know what? I am a father. And what you're hearing here today is certain, over a 22-year period, I made some mistakes. I always tried correcting those mistakes. I provided for my family. I worked 60, 70 hours a week taking care of my family. I'm the soccer coach, t-ball coach, football coach, golf coach. I do it all with all my kids.
But you just run away from your wife at times.
She drives me loopy, you know, and you know, I'm not.
You know, I drive him loopy because I would like him, and I've asked him many times, I want to go out with you. I want to go out. Let's you and I go out. And he never, ever has time for me, ever. I've made arrangements for things for him. On our wedding anniversary, our last anniversary, I had things planned. He never came home. I had the room with candles. I had little heart underwear for him. I had everything for him, and he has no clue about it because he never came home.
Because all
That's
he
our
thinks
wedding
about is him.
anniversary.
Now, I need you to take care of these children and continue to be a responsible father.
And I have been taking care of them.
But the last four times that he moved away, he's never helped pay.
Let me say this real quick.
No. Are you paying child support?
I pay now.
He pays me what he can.
I paid $1,500 the month before. I've already given her $900
the first
this month.
The second month he gave me $700. The third month he gave me $900.
And how long have you been separated?
3 months.
Okay, that's good. It's good timing. 3 months is long enough. And you're working now, and you're doing a used car salesman, right?
New and used.
New and used.
New and used. You're a car salesman.
Yeah. What do you drive?
And the way you talk,
Judge, may I say something
I'm getting ready to
quick?
drive this pen and ink down on this paper and make an order for you to pay child support. That's what I drive, hard bargain.
I have no problem paying that.
Drive a hard bargain.
I have no problem paying that.
I'm glad you don't.
When divorce court continues, Judge Mablean's verdict gets a huge response from the gallery. Divorce court continues in the case of Kim Ward, who wants her husband Rick to pay child support.
How much are you making as a used car salesman?
It varies.
New and used.
Give me an average. Tell me what you earned last year, what you reported to IRS.
$60,000.
And what about you, Mrs. Ward?
I'm running a daycare in my home, and I bring home about $600 a month.
Oh.
And what about your Mary Kay?
I've just started in that, so I haven't really brought home anything.
I don't think she's ever brought home $600 a month.
What do you think she's brought home?
Not $600 a month.
Probably a lot less, right?
A lot less.
Like about 200 or 300?
Well, I know I'm kind of burying myself here. Yeah, but less, you know.
So she's really not even capable of earning $600 a month, right?
Well, she isn't.
That's why you're going to pay some child and spousal support. Now you just talked yourself into spousal support as well. because she can't earn more than $600 a month.
I didn't mention all the pets she has. I don't want to pay for those, too.
You know, we got our first pet the first week we were together.
You two are trying my patience. I said zip it, and that's exactly what I mean, both of you.
Okay.
I'm going to order child support in the sum of $300 per month per child. That's $1,200. And I'm going to order spousal support of $600 per month. That's $1,800 per month. Mrs. Ward, I'm going to order you to give him an accounting of your earnings from Mary Kay.
Okay.
For each month that you exceed $600 from those earnings, he will be able to deduct $100.
Okay.
And it will be $500 per month. The spousal support is until she gets a full-time job or until her earnings equal at least minimum wage per month, which would be about $13.75 per month. At the point you reach $13.75 per month in your earnings, then spousal support will terminate. The child support continues until the children reach age 18 years of age and graduate from high school. So for the oldest child, it will end when he graduates high school. For the others, it will continue until they reach age 18 or graduate high school, but not beyond age 19. That's the order of the court. Court's adjourned.
All rise. Parties may leave the courtroom.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
22 years.
Every day it's a new adventure out here.
He hadn't protested so much about her earnings and her capability trying to be funny, wouldn't have gotten that order.
That's true. That's true.
Sometimes we put our own foot in our mouths.
My husband had to have everything his way. If I didn't go by his rules, it wasn't good enough.
My wife's lazy and she's not really a good mother to my kids.
Every ounce of money that I spent, he had to have a receipt. The chrome on the faucets, he had to have shined. I was 8 months pregnant with our first child, and he told me to go outside and mow the grass.
97-degree weather. Your wife is 8 months pregnant, and you're going to ask her to go outside and mow the lawn.
Oh, no, I offered to give her a glass of water.
You know what? Not funny.
Now Casey Welch says she took her children and ran to her mother's house for refuge from her husband, Derek. And she wants the judge to order him to give her the furniture she had to leave behind. In today's session of Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Judge Mablean Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Casey Welch versus Derek Welch. You've been married for 8 years?
Yes, ma'am.
You want him to pay for the furniture?
No.
You want him to give you the furniture?
Right.
You
yes,
want
ma'am.
the furniture?
Yes, ma'am, because I paid for the furniture on the credit card that I had before we got married.
So what ended an 8-year relationship? You still holding on to furniture before marriage?
Well, he is extremely controlling. I couldn't raise my children in that type of environment.
How many children you have? 3. And how does he control you?
For instance, during the course of our marriage, I was 8 months pregnant with our first child, and he told me to go outside and mow the grass. It was 97 degrees outside. He told me, you know, why don't you go and mow the grass? And at first I thought it was all a big joke, you know, because I'm like...
And you're pregnant?
I was 8 months pregnant at this time, with our first child. Okay. And he told me, why don't I go outside and mow the grass? It looks like it's getting...
good exercise and would help you go on and deliver quickly, I think.
Obviously so. Obviously so.
I offered to give her
So did you do it?
No, I did not. It caused a huge argument caused a huge argument. So not only that, every ounce of money that I spent, he had to have a receipt. If it was over $5, I had to come back with a receipt.
That was your limit, $5?
Obviously so, yes,
so
ma'am.
So what, he was the only one working?
Yes.
So he gave you an allowance each week or each day?
Well, it wasn't necessarily an allowance. I would have to come to him and ask him for money.
And did he sit there when you brought the receipts and did he itemize and count it up?
Often, yes.
Did he keep records that well? Or was he just controlling?
He was just extremely controlling.
So he wasn't keeping the receipts for IRS?
No, because once he looked at the receipts, he would just crumble them up and toss them in the trash.
You just didn't trust her?
No, it's just that I want, keep up receipts because I was the only one working. I want to know where the money was going.
Oh.
Well, if you would let...
What else?
If... he had to have dinner on the table the minute he walked through the door. The chrome on the faucets he had to have shined.
When you turn on the water?
Yes. Or I was lazy.
The faucets on the sink?
Yes.
Hey,
yes,
if
ma'am.
you're going to stay at home all day, you should be able to clean.
Shined?
They had to be shined.
How often did you have to shine them?
Every day. Every day.
I want to know, in that 97-degree temperature, did you go cut the lawn?
No, I did not. No, I did not. And as a matter of fact, that caused a huge...
What was that all about, Mr. Welch?
I was told it was good exercise for somebody that's pregnant. It makes it be able to deliver the baby better.
Now, you just heard me say that. You weren't told that.
No.
You just heard me say that, right?
No.
That's what somebody told you?
Yes.
To have her go mow the lawn so she could deliver quicker?
I've been told that a lot of exercise when it's close for the baby to be born, it's, makes the delivery a lot better.
And a lot easier?
Like stress of the relationship.
So that's what you really had in mind?
Yes.
Was she complaining about she was tired of carrying the baby?
Every once in a while.
Did the lawn need mowing, or were you just suggesting that she just go push the lawn more as a way of getting the exercise?
It needed mowing.
So why hadn't you mowed the lawn?
So I figured I'd ask her to mow the lawn. But, I was going to help her eventually.
Eventually, yeah.
That's not funny to me. 97-degree weather. Your wife is 8 months pregnant. And you're going to ask her to go outside and mow a lawn. You didn't think about the fact that it just might kill her and the newborn and the unborn child.
I offered to give her a glass of water.
You know what? Not funny. Your joke, your comedian, the comedian comic nature of yours is really kind of off-centered, because that's not funny at all. There was a 300-pound trained professional football player, trained to run in heat, to keep on uniforms, just died. Outside in the heat, died. And you want this little lady right here, carrying a baby at 8 months pregnant, to go mow the lawn. That's awfully inconsiderate of you. Sounded like to me that you may have been trying to kill her.
No, I'm trying to kill her.
He didn't care anything about me, really.
It was obvious. Now, what's it shining the chrome? Why the chrome got to be shined by your wife?
Well, if you're going to stay at home and I got to work all the time, the house should be able to be clean and the faucets ought to be shiny if you're going to clean.
But he wouldn't let me get a job. He wouldn't let me go outside of the home and work.
I told her she had to stay home.
What did you want to do?
I wanted to at least get out, help make extra income, because he was very...
He controlled your money.
Yes.
I told her she could stay home and watch the kids, and I'd work 2 jobs to support her and my kids.
You just wanted her to be at home.
Yeah.
Cleaning the way you wanted things clean.
It had to be his way or no way.
No, ma'am.
You don't have a military background?
No, ma'am.
Did somebody make you clean like that?
No, ma'am.
And you trying to pass it on? Did you have to do those kinds of things when you were growing up?
Yeah.
And now you finally get a chance to tell somebody else to do it, and you trying to
He
get
thinks
even.
it's okay now.
Is that it?
I guess.
What, you had to shine the chrome at home?
Well, I didn't have to go to that far to shine the chrome.
So why do I
What did you have to do?
I just had to make sure everything, it had to be shiny. Because if it wasn't shiny, you could tell, well, they didn't clean it.
And then what would happen?
Then I'd get in trouble.
You got a whipping or got punished?
I got punished.
And so now you're passing this on because you finally get a chance to have someone do what you hated doing and what people made you do. You think so?
Probably.
when Divorce Court continues.
He would constantly, put me down saying, oh, you're lazy. Oh, you're so lazy. You're stupid. You're not worth anything.
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce Court continues in the case of Casey Welch, who says her husband Derek controlled her every move.
Remember when you were made to do it, you hated it, didn't you?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you say everything that I hated as a child when I was growing up, now that I have a chance and an opportunity to make my own decisions about the way I run my house, I'm going to do mine differently. And the things that I hated, that I was made to do, I will make certain that my children and the people that are in my family are not made to do that.
Right.
You didn't think about that?
No.
So I guess when your kids grow up, they'd be walking the chalk line and shining the chrome too, huh?
No.
Why
I mean,
not?
now I realize, what I done was wrong. But, now it's too late because I can't go back and
necessarily
change.
wrong, just, better way to do it. There's nothing wrong with wanting your house clean.
I don't think he knows of
and
any other way.
Things shining and looking well, but you can't make an adult person do it. So now you think you should have done differently?
Yeah, I should have done differently.
But you say too late?
It's too late.
Yeah, it's too late.
It's too late.
What about the money? Why you didn't trust your wife with the money? You had to check out all the receipts. What do you think she was doing with it?
Because a lot of times I go, tell her to go pay a bill, and then when the bill comes, it'd be late. And I'm like, well, if you paid it, then how come I'm getting a late notice?
No, I never had control of the money. I never had any money except for what I asked him.
You never had any money to pay the bills?
No, he had complete control of all finances.
So you weren't the kind of woman that stayed at home and he made the money and then brought it to you to pay the bills?
No,
so how you talking about the bill was not paid late if you didn't give her the money to pay?
I did it one time, give her the money to pay a bill because I couldn't. And then
what, 1 month?
Yeah, 1 month.
Just one time?
Never.
Yeah.
And from then on you said no way?
And I got the bill back and it said it was unpaid.
What has she said over the years that made you so distrusting of her?
I don't know. She's never there for me.
She what?
She wasn't there for me.
What you mean by that? She had 3 children, and she's at home every day cleaning and shining chrome. She must be there for you. What do you mean by that?
I don't know.
Just a nice phrase to say she was never there for me. You heard somebody else say it, you thought you'd repeat it?
No.
So you have some concept or some idea when you say she was never there for me. What was missing? What wasn't she doing for you that you think she should have done?
I'd like to, show some respect, some affection or something.
Showed respect.
She wasn't affectionate?
How can you be affectionate?
How you get 3 kids if she wasn't affectionate?
How can you be affectionate for someone controlling you, telling you, if it's not done this way, if it's not done that way, then,
So why could you just say, I'm not going to do it like that? When he said it, did you do it?
If I did, it would be... Sometimes, but yes, I did. And the occasions that I didn't do it, then he would constantly, put me down saying, oh, you're lazy. Oh, you're so lazy. You're stupid. You're not worth anything. I give you one simple chore to do, and you can't even follow through with that.
What was the final straw?
The final straw happens to be where his infidelity falls into place.
Mr. Controlling is infidelity?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. There was a neighbor that lived behind us, and he would constantly go visit this neighbor. And I confronted him with the issue one day, and I said, why are you with her? Why are you always over there? And he
you
wants
didn't
to
go
talk...
visit the neighbor?
I did confront her. I said,
No, but I'm saying when he went to visit the neighbor,
I
you
was
weren't
always
neighborly with her?
Never come with me.
Go on, finish.
I was always with my mother. The times that he would, and that was, by the way, the only place that I could go.
Was to your mother's house?
Was to my mother's house. And I went there one day after, they had done their thing or whatever they were doing. And I confronted her. I said, why are you here all the time? Why is he at your house constantly? And she's like, well, we're just friends. We're just friends.
What'd you find
3
out?
months later.
3 months?
3 months later, she came up to me and told me Well, I hate to tell you this, but I'm pregnant with Derek's babies. She was having twins.
That's crazy.
The divorce court continues.
You want me to believe that you going over to the neighbor's house on a regular basis,
Yeah.
and it never got sexual?
No.
Oh, no, that is a lie.
Closed captioning for divorce court provided by. If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at www.divorcecourt.com. Divorce court continues in the case of Casey Welch, who says her husband Derek fathered twins with another woman.
So you saying that you didn't have this neighborly act, didn't become sexual? You just visited her?
No, I was just friends with her.
Just friends?
Why would she come up
problems
to
with
me
her
and tell me
husband.
this?
And I'd go down there and talk to her, and then I don't know where she come up with this twins thing.
She had problems with her husband, and you would go and talk to her as a friend because you have a degree in psychology, right?
No, ma'am.
What about marital counseling? You got a degree in that?
No, ma'am.
What was your role?
I was just trying to comfort her.
Comfort her.
But yeah,
And what did you do to comfort her?
I'm sitting at home.
Tell her it'd be all right, you know, things will get better. You'll find somebody
And
different.
your wife is at home with the 3 kids, and apparently you're going over here after work, right?
Yeah.
And your wife has been at home with the 3 children all day.
He can't find time to go out
But
and
you
mow the
couldn't go
grass.
comfort her and spend some time with her.
But he can go and spend all day with her.
Is that what you're telling me?
More or less.
Doesn't that sound funny to you?
Yeah, it sounds kind of funny, but the thing with the twins, I never signed no birth certificate saying they were mine.
You don't ever
She
have to sign a birth
confronted
certificate
him.
saying that they are yours.
She confronted him with a paternity test because
And?
he kept denying it, and he
I
still
ain't never
he
took no
denies it to this day.
paternity
And he
don't-
refuses to take the paternity test
Yes.
because you really don't want to know, do you?
I reckon.
She hasn't after that, you know, after what, about 6 months?
That's not funny.
She stopped pursuing the whole issue because
So she stopped
knew.
it too? She won't pursue the paternity
She
test?
knew. No, She knew that he wouldn't be there to provide.
Have you seen the children?
No.
So you through with her. You're not confident in her anymore now, right? Once you told her she was pregnant. What happened to the neighborly attitude of comforting the woman who was in distress?
He fell out with her like he did with me.
Yeah, we had a falling out, had an argument.
Why? How you have a falling out with somebody that all you're doing is to go over and talk to them and comfort them and be their friend? How did you end up having a falling out?
I don't know. We just did.
Mr. Welch, I'm gonna try to say this as delicately as I can. Are you putting on an act? Or are you really as naive as you're trying to pretend to be?
No. I can be nice. I can be good. It's
So
just-
you really think
never
you
with me.
you want me to believe that you going over to the neighbor's house on a regular basis, and you were just sitting there confident and talking to her about her little problems with her husband that was nowhere around,
Yeah.
and it never got sexual?
No.
No, that is a lie. That
How
is
do
a
you
lie.
know? Were you
because
there?
he confronted me. He came to me after I asked him. When she came to me and told me that she was pregnant with his twins, I asked him, I said, well, she's telling me that she's pregnant. Well, I never slept with her. Well, why is she saying this? Well, I only slept with her once.
That's all it takes. Was it once? So now you say never.
Never.
The divorce court continues.
He's saying because I've been gone longer than 30 days that I can't get my furniture back.
Oh, that's his rule.
That's his rule.
Divorce court continues in the case of Casey Welch, who wants her husband Derek to give her the furniture she left behind when she left him.
Now, what about this furniture? Where is it?
It's still at his house.
So because you moved out.
Right,
Yeah,
I had to.
She moved
I had
out,
to.
so I figured
And where are you living?
I'm staying with my mother now.
Poor mothers, we can't ever get rid of y'all. Why you always come back to us? Ooh.
I figured.
So now,
But
you bought some furniture before you married him?
No, I had a credit card before we were married. we purchased the furniture during our marriage, but now because I have left the furniture, he's saying because of his rules and his regulations that I have to follow by, 30 days.
You left the furniture 30 days.
Well, no. He's saying because I've been gone longer than 30 days that I can't get my furniture back.
Oh, that's his rule.
That's his rule. That's his rules and his regulations.
You had 30 days to come back and get it?
You had a credit card in your name before you married him. You purchased some furniture during the marriage.
Right.
You left the furniture there because you went back to mother's house and didn't have any place to
store
use it. And now he says you've been gone for 30 days, you forfeited the furniture. Exactly. And who
But
told you
I'm
that
still
rule?
having to pay
The credit card bill.
Right.
So how much is left on the bill?
Approximately $350.
$350?
Yes.
And what kind of furniture are we talking about?
It's a hutch, a couch, 2 end tables, a coffee table, 2 recliners.
Now where are you gonna put it if he gives it to you?
I'll put it in storage.
And you'll pay a storage bill of $50 a month.
Well, I'm having to pay a $350.
Well, she's gonna get a storage. She should have got storage when she moved
Yeah,
out.
but this was a quick thing. I couldn't do that day.
So you have a hutch, a couch, 2 end tables, anything else?
2 recliners and the coffee table.
All right, Mr. Welch, this is the rule. Furniture purchased during the marriage, you must divide it. And she doesn't have a 30-day cutoff period. This is not an eviction notice. This is not landlord-tenant. This is not landlord-tenant. Somebody told you a little rule, but you got the rule mixed up. Wrong set of laws, all right?
All right.
This is community property law. So go back and tell your little, schoolyard buddy that they gave you the wrong rule. She's entitled to half of that furniture, and so are you. Now you have to figure out who's going to get what. And the balance of the bill is the obligation of both of you. So you're each going to pay half of that as well. And you're to allow her the entry to your house and allow her to pick up the items. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Now that's a rule, better known as an order.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, court's adjourned.
All rise. Parties may leave the courtroom.
I thought Shirley was going to say he was in the military.
He should be.
But what he was doing was simply carrying over his household the way he was raised. Right. And we all are products of our environment.
That's a perfect example.
Aren't we products of our environment?
People have that idea. If it's good enough for me, it's good enough for you.
That's true.
Even if it's not a good thing.